Hello and welcome to Fake News with me, Nicholas De Santo. From London, England, this bulletin reaches you wherever you are in the world in your local time. Now let's see what's been happening in the week behind us. In Britain, people celebrated the Platinum Jubilee, honoring Queen Elizabeth for 70 years of steadfast leadership and unwavering service. Now, if you live abroad, in British English, steadfast leadership and unwavering service means living in hereditary palaces and reading out 2 speeches per year written out by others for you. Also this week, Russia reportedly lost its 12th general in Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin told his generals, losing your life in the battlefield is good, but if you could show a bit more steadfast leadership and unwavering service, like Queen Elizabeth of England, we can actually win this war. Ukrainian President Zelensky kept visiting frontline in eastern Ukraine. Asked if he feared getting killed or captured in the battlefield, he said, "Our only hope of winning the war is for me to show steadfast leadership and unwavering service like the Queen of England." Still in Britain, Prime Minister Boris Johnson survived a vote of no confidence in Parliament. Mr. Johnson has been under fire ever since it emerged that he took part in office parties while the nation was under lockdowns introduced by his government. Critics would have wanted his government to fall and be replaced by Labour opposition, who also wanted the lockdowns and also partied under them. So you see, there's not much of a difference except that the Labour Party are lefty tossers. Again in Britain, more saber rattling over the government's controversial decision to send male single illegal migrants to Rwanda. One critic said this is the most ridiculous idea to come from the Conservatives, since then Prime Minister Theresa May said Islam was compatible with the British way of life. In a heated debate in Parliament, a Conservative backbencher said, "We cannot keep taking everyone from every hellhole in the world." To which a Labour backbencher replied, "That's racist." To which the Conservative backbencher rebutted, "Come on, give me one good reason we can't send them to Rwanda." To which the Labour backbencher replied, "Because it's a hellhole." Also in Britain, major cinema chain Cineworld pulled the plug on the movie Angel of Heaven after angry protesters called it blasphemous towards Islam. Cineworld said this decision was to protect their staff and customers. When asked why he was angry at a movie he had not even seen yet, one of the participants standing among the angry mob outside the Cineworld theater said, "I'm not angry about the film. The main reason for my anger is that many people in Britain do not believe Islam is the religion of peace." Now, protests broke out in Bedford, Bolton, and Birmingham, all hellholes starting with B, having a sizable Muslim population, which is totally coincidental. Because, Sheffield starts with S and it's still a hellhole with a sizable Muslim population. So whether or not your city is a hellhole does not depend on its initial letter. By the way, Bedford has been designated as the 2025 UK City of Culture, which goes to show you the British have the best sense of humor. UK Health Secretary Sajid Javid also criticized the decision to pull the film, saying what we have in this country is freedom of speech, which again goes to show you that the British have the best sense of humor. Now, overseas, a teacher killed and 14 school children injured after a man drove his car into the sidewalk in Berlin. Once mainstream media learned that the driver was not a Muslim but a white man, they rushed to publish his picture all over their pages to show it's not just Muslims who carry out these kind of attacks. But ironically, this unusual move of publishing the white man's picture, the perpetrator's picture rather, reminded everyone that it's almost always Muslim attackers who drive their cars or trucks into pedestrians. Now, Johnny Depp has been continuing his tour of Britain following his defamation case victory in a US court against ex-wife Amber Heard. Amber Heard and feminists have described the court verdict as a setback for women who like to lie. It's a major setback for dishonest women who are victims of abuse, but the abuse is totally made up. In sports news, French police apologized to Liverpool fans for using tear gas to control them in bottlenecks before the Champions League final match in Paris against Real Madrid. This is not the first time Liverpool fans are victims. In 1989 Hillsborough tragedy, Liverpool fans crushed 96 of their own to death and blamed the police. Only 4 years earlier, in Heysel tragedy in Brussels, in European Cup final against Juventus, Liverpool fans killed 39 mostly Italian fans. 14 Liverpool fans were subsequently convicted of manslaughter, and all English clubs were banned from Europe for 5 years. Now, to be fair, this time Liverpool fans were likely attacked by the diversity of suburban Paris and its multicultural gangs, but their reputation is so terrible that we will never know for sure. Still football. On the eve of Germany versus England football match in UEFA Nations League, German police arrested 7 English fans in Munich. None of them Liverpool fans, as we have already established. They are innocent angels. 3 of the English fans were detained for giving Nazi salutes. So basically the English fans decided to aggravate the Germans by confusing them. German police had not been so confused since the time they took those 1 million harmless refugees, of whom hundreds later attacked women in Cologne New Year's Eve celebrations. And finally, in golf, the world of golf is being shaken by an earthquake, as several top golfers have abandoned the PGA Tour to play in LIV, a new series bankrolled by Saudi Arabia, accused of sports washing their human rights records. In Hertfordshire, England, where the first event of the new LIV series were to be played, when asked by reporters why he had decided to join the Saudi event in return for reportedly £80 million, two-time major champion Dustin Johnson said, "Well, I have 80 million good reasons." I mean, what's the question? You already answered the question in your question. In a tense press conference, Ryder Cup star Ian Poulter was asked if there is anywhere you wouldn't play on a moral basis. The Englishman responded, "I don't need to answer to a hypothetical question." Asked if he would have played in apartheid South Africa, Lee Westwood said, "You're asking us a hypothetical question, which we can't answer." Asked if his wife was with him for his money, he said, "Yes, absolutely yes." Now finally, an easy question. Asked if they would play in a tournament staged by Vladimir Putin, they said, "That's again a hypothetical question. We can't answer that." Now you see, sports washing is when countries with abysmal human rights records try to host major glitzy international sports tournaments, so people say, well, they are murderers, but at least they have good sports facilities. They can host major events, unlike those other broadcast murderers who don't have the venues and can't do logistics. Stupid, clumsy idiots. Then journalists go after athletes participating in the events and say, why aren't you condemning the human rights violations? Is it because you are participating in this tournament for money? To which those elite athletes respond, no, we didn't condemn these human rights violations even before the event. I mean, what do you want from us? We punch opponents in their head for a living or throw balls into holes, whatever sport we are talking about. And then the journalist said they would have given the rebel golfers a much tougher grilling, except that they had to wrap it up to divert their focus to the Grand Prix in Azerbaijan, which is a real place. Yeah, Azerbaijan is a real place. They don't even construct wheelbarrows, but somehow they get to host Formula One Grand Prix events. But the journalist said, once this is over, we'll be back to you. We'll be on your case, you greedy golfers. There it is. We did it. Thank you for watching. This was the first ever bulletin of fake news with me, Nicholas De Santo. So please let me know in the comments section if you like it, and maybe we can have more of that. Until next week, maybe. Take care, and thank you for your time.